Hi, I'm Ray Armand, a chartered accountant and Xero specialist. And if you are using Xero for your business, you are going to want to check these 5 places within Xero to see if you are doing your bookkeeping properly. This is a quick check that I do when I get hold of a Xero account. Within 2 minutes, I can tell if there's a big mess to clean up or whether the Xero account is on track, whether the bookkeeping is on track or not. Okay. Plus, I am going to throw in a bonus tip or a bonus place that I check when I am running a check on someone's Xero account that you definitely don't want to miss. So I'll be covering that one at the end, and that one is a biggie. And it's the most common mistake that I see people make when they are using their Xero account. So let's jump into the Xero demo company, where I am going to walk you through these quick checks that you can do. Now, I'm going to obviously walk through them a little bit slower than I would do, but once you get used to what you're looking for, within 2 minutes, you can do this check. And yes, I'm using these checks for me as an accountant or Xero expert coming into an account to tell if there's something wrong. But you can follow the same process once a month, spending less than 5 minutes to have a quick check over of your Xero account to make sure that everything is neat and tidy and accurate. So let me show you how I do that. Let me minimize my picture here, and we'll go through. So here's a Xero demo company. Let's just close these notifications. What I am going to be doing is quickly showing you the 5 tabs plus a bonus 6th one that I open up. And we'll run through each of them. So what I do on my mouse, just a useful shortcut to know, I could right click and say open a new tab, but I just push the middle mouse button and it does that for me. So you're going to see me clicking on things and I'm opening them up in new tabs, and then we'll dive into each of those tabs. Okay. So the first thing I do is I look at any bank accounts that the Xero account has. This is a demo company that only have 2 bank accounts, and I open those up in a separate tab, and we're going to dive into them shortly. Now, do keep in mind that the Xero bank accounts that are visible on the dashboard are not necessarily all the bank accounts that are active. So what you need to do is, if you go to the accounting menu and you go to bank accounts, then you can have a quick look to see if there's any Xero accounts that the business is using that are perhaps not showing visible on the home screen or the dashboard. Okay. In this instance, there is one other account you can see, no transactions imported. And it is useful to be aware of this, because even if you no longer have a live bank feed connected up for that account, you still need to check it. So we're going to open that one up too. Okay. So I know that's 3 tabs so far, but that's one check we're doing. The first check is checking your bank accounts, and I'm going to show you what we're checking in a moment. The next thing I want you to open up is go to your sales menu, and you want to open up your invoices screen. So that's everything to do with your customers. Go to your purchases screen or purchases menu and open up the bills screen, which is to do with your suppliers. Okay, so we've checked bank accounts in these 3 tabs. We're going to check customers. We're going to check suppliers. Then go to reporting. And it can be interesting to look at your profit and loss, and I highly recommend doing that. But if I'm trying to diagnose if there's issues in the Xero account, I'm going to get a lot more information by jumping into the balance sheet. Okay, so we're going to run that. If the balance sheet is not an option that's visible on this drop-down menu, what you'll do is you'll go to all reports, you'll search for balance sheet, and then you'll be able to find it. Okay. So click on that. And what you want to do is, if it's not visible here and you want it to be visible in future, if you star that report on the all reports screen, it will then become a favorited report and be visible here. Okay. So I highly recommend looking at your balance sheet. And so then the next thing I normally look at is come here to the accounting menu and look at fixed assets. So those are the 5 areas. We've got your bank and the various bank accounts, your invoices, your supplier bills, I'm just looking at the order that I've opened them up in. Then we've also got your balance sheet and your fixed assets. So those are the 5 areas that I open up. And then the bonus one that we'll look at just while we're opening up all these tabs is we go to account settings. Okay, so you can see I normally whiz through and open these tabs up within seconds. Let's now talk about what we do in each of these tabs. So bank account. You, in doing your day-to-day bookkeeping, almost certainly spend the majority of your time on this reconcile tab. What I want to encourage you to do is when you do this monthly check, or if you're trying to work out if your Xero is a mess, is come to this account transactions tab. Okay, what you want to do, you come to account transactions tab, you want to hit the status button a couple of times just to make sure that it's sorted it so that all the unreconciled transactions appear at the top. Okay, so we sorted in, I don't know, Z to A rather than A to Z. Now, what you're looking for is any transactions that are unreconciled on this account transactions tab that are more than 2 weeks old. If they are older than a couple of weeks, then that is a sign that something has gone wrong and you need to investigate. Now, everything that I show you in this video that goes wrong, I'm not going to delve deeper into how to fix that because it would make the video too long, firstly. Secondly, I may have some other videos covering it. Otherwise, if you're wanting help fixing these sorts of things, I do have a Become a Xero Hero program. And if you want to learn more about that, I will pop the link to join one of my free training sessions below, and you can see what kind of support I can offer there. Okay. But for now, I'm just pointing out where you can identify where your Xero might have issues. So place number one, you've come to each of your bank accounts, you've looked at this account transactions tab, you've sorted by status, and you're looking for any unreconciled transactions on this tab that are older than 2 weeks. And the reason items appear here is because you have recorded that something has happened in your bank account, but it's never been actually matched up to a bank transaction. Okay, so you need to then do further investigation. You can also, just as like a little bonus here, go to this bank statements tab, and you should be checking. You take like this is up to 2nd of March. It is a demo company, but you go up to the end of the previous day and check the balance at the end of that date, and it should agree to your bank statement. Okay, so that's your banks. You'll do that for each of your bank accounts. Next up, your customer invoices screen to check if anything has gone wrong here or is going wrong. If you go to your awaiting payment tab, you should have nothing in this screen that is older than a month or 2, unless you might have the odd dispute with a customer where they're refusing to pay. But if there's a chronic problem within a business of loads of invoices that are older than a couple of months, that is a sign that your bookkeeping is a mess. It could just be because you got bad credit control, or it could be because you're not reconciling your bank properly. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, you're going to do the same exercise on your bills. So your suppliers that you owe money to, you come to the awaiting payment tab. You're going to look here. You can sort by date if you have a lot of awaiting payment bills. And if there's anything older than a month or 2, again, especially if there's quite a few transactions, that is a sign that your bookkeeping is a mess and you need to do some cleanup. So that's check number 3. Check number 4 is coming to your balance sheet report. And what you're going to do here is you're going to run it. I recommend, there's a couple of ways you can look at this, and I would look at both ways. The first is to say, let me run it as at the end of last month and compare it with, we're going to do a comparison. So I clicked up here, compare. And you can say compare with 4 months, or you can say, you know what, I want to compare with 10 months. Now, do keep in mind, this is a demo company, and that means that the data I'm showing you here is limited. But what you're looking at is once in your business, once you've run at end of last month, compared it with 10 months, you want to go to your control accounts. Now, a control account is any account that holds a temporary balance. It's like an account that it's like a suitcase when you're packing for holiday. You put money into the control account with the intention that that money needs to come out, or that amount, okay? So for example, if you're running payroll, you would add your wages payable to that with your journal or your payroll each month, and then when you pay staff, you take it out. So it should net off to 0. Your VAT account works similar. So your payroll account, your VAT accounts, any HMRC like tax accounts, any like historical adjustments, things like that. These shouldn't be building up over time. If you're actually making those payments, they should be, going up, down, but never growing in size. So what you want to do is come to your balance sheet, look at your VAT account. Look at your PAYE account. Look at your wages payable, things like that. And look at how the balance moves month on month, okay? It shouldn't be growing in size, and it shouldn't have a balance that stays there forever. What you can do is, if you suspect there is an issue, you can click on the figure and drill down into the transaction detail and see what is happening. Again, I don't have a training. I'm not going to cover now exactly how to fix that, but you're just looking for if there's a balance growing or a balance that never clears. You also want to do this for the end of last financial year and compare with, if we change this to year, like the last 3 or 4 years. Because that can also see, again, demo company, but you can see if there's a balance sitting on your balance sheet under any of these control accounts, VAT, PAYE, like suspense accounts, things like that, wages payable that are not clearing. If there's an amount sitting there, or if the amount's getting bigger, that's a sign that something is wrong with your bookkeeping. So that was check number 4. Check number 5 is I come to the fixed assets feature within Xero. If you are using the fixed asset tool, you need to make sure that you are registering any drafts. So you shouldn't see loads of drafts building up here. And you should check that your depreciation has been run recently. Okay, again, not showing that detail, but if you're using the fixed assets, you should be popping on here regularly. And I highly recommend this tool. I love this tool within Xero. It's a really handy one. If you're not using the fixed asset tool, I would recommend using it, because it's going to give you that insight throughout the year rather than having to wait until the end of the year to get that insight from your accountant. Okay, so those are the 5 areas I check. And I promised you a bonus area that I would highlight to you. So to get to the screen, you go accounting settings. And then if you go under financial settings, scroll down to lock dates. These should not be blank. Okay, so you might see them like this. They shouldn't be blank, these 2 fields. And they shouldn't be older than the last set of financial statements that were submitted to HMRC. Okay, so what do you want to see? I've told you what they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be blank, and they shouldn't be older than your last set of financial statements. What we want to see is the last set of financial statements that were submitted to HMRC and Companies House. Let's say it was December 2025 was the last set. You want to see that date here. What this field does is it locks your Xero up to that date, because once you've filed information with Companies House, you should be making no further edits to the underlying bookkeeping. Otherwise, what will happen is when you come to do your next set of accounts, your opening balances are all going to be incorrect, and it causes nightmare. It's going to increase your accounting fees, make your information incorrect, possibly end up in you paying more tax than you need to. Okay, so you definitely, and it's such a common one that I see missed. You want to see that your Xero is locked, the financial information in your accounts is locked up to the last set of submitted financial statements as a minimum. Okay, very important for the integrity of your data. So those are the 6 quick checks that I do when I get hold of a Xero account. So I can tell within a matter of minutes, under 5 minutes, whether there is an underlying problem within the way the bookkeeping is being done. Now, if you have found by following these 5/6 steps that there are a number of issues within your Xero account, please comment below or go to the link that I've put in the description below and join one of my free training sessions where we delve deeper into these issues, where you can get some answers. Okay, thanks for listening. Cheers.